Phones silent, off, whatever. No ringing, no random pings.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm going to my notes. Do we have any notes from last week?
Few.
Oh yeah, we okay.
James was scribing.
What's going on? Listen to your wife.
Tony said he had to start off with spiritual worship and to end it with natural worship.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Flashback.
Ooh.
2 weeks in a row. Is it off?
Scoot the table down.
Table or
So
no? Wait. We need to go.
Tyrell's table is cut off,
We need to go that way.
so I need to go. Okay,
Boom, right there.
So y'all come back this way.
got you. A
Yeah.
little bit more.
I mean, God, dog, Tyrell.
Tyrell say I'm big in here.
Big old
Pause. Come on, man. Let's go, man.
Well, you recorded that? Oh my gosh.
Let's go, man. Let's go.
Stop
We
it,
out
man.
here. All right.
Listen,
35 minutes,
Not,
10
this is
o'clock
not
hard
that
stop.
type of podcast.
Oh man.
These guys.
Bloopers.
We're not playing that one.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for tuning in and watching.
Yes.
We are picking up on where we left off last episode. So for some context, we're going to watch some videos. But to catch everybody up, we ended talking about a little bit of a dispute going on with a Christian rapper, hip-hop artist, Dee-1. He's had some things to say about a few people. Rick Ross, Jim Jones, a little bit before that, Lecrae, Meek Mill, etc.
The whole industry at large.
The whole hip-hop industry. And we were talking about, is he right for doing that, number one? And then number two, is anything good able to come from him calling out the hip-hop industry? So, again, for context, we're just going to actually watch the video or a few clips, a few seconds of the video. One of the videos. There's a few videos out there. We're going to watch a little bit of it. We're going to live react. Hopefully we can get the video into this recording. So bear with us. First time doing it, but we're doing it to have fun. So let's listen. Let's check it out.
Hey, and we got to do a disclaimer. We do not own the rights to this video.
There you go.
This is for educational purposes only.
Discussion.
Entertainment. Yep,
Shout out to Dee-1. Somebody tag him.
Yeah.
And
Tag
it'll be
Dee-1.
cool to hear your thoughts
Tag all of them.
on our thoughts. All right, let's go.
Jones, you could do better, brother. I love you too much. I love you too much to not be honest with you. Rick Ross, you could do better, brother. Meek Mill, you could do better, brother. I love you too much not to be honest with you. Are you the face of prison reform? Are you the face of prison reform? Or are you sitting here on your new song with Ross talking about getting somebody murked and shot at the red light? Which one is it, bro? Which one is it, bro? Because I did a shoe giveaway in my city and gave out 1,300 pairs of your shoes because they said reform underneath them. And I love that you partnered with a major shoe company and you out here pushing prison reform. But now I got to sit here like, man, this man glorifying getting people killed as of a week ago. Like, what are you doing, bro? Lil Snoop really got killed. That broke your heart. You wear him around your neck. Why are you glorifying the same thing when my best friend got killed? When Carl got killed, New Orleans know who I'm talking about. When Carl got killed, and I had to go to his funeral and read the eulogy and be part of the funeral, and I got back in my car, Sway, after the funeral, and I turned on my music, and I realized I'm listening to music that's glorifying the same stuff that just happened to my best friend. Mm-hmm. It gave me chills, and I needed that moment. That was my come to Jesus moment of like,
Hey, I don't know about y'all, but I felt every word of that.
Yeah, he was passionate. I like the passion.
I love the passion behind, because it to me it's not a level of disrespect. It's literally I love you enough to tell you the truth that we've been going at this wrong for way too long. And now that when you look at places like Chicago, when you look at places like New Orleans, when you look at places
Baltimore.
like Memphis and Baltimore, and you look at all these different places, man, we're killing each other all day, every day, and it's the music that's driving it. Like, if you want to go kill somebody, what you gonna do? You gonna put on music that literally is gonna have you in the mind
That
frame to kill
mindset.
somebody. If you want to go and make love to a girl, what you gonna do? You gonna put on some music that's gonna make you. And we talked about this in an episode, a few episodes
About
ago.
music, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
you know what I'm
that's
saying.
we
So
talking
it's like, I can't say nothing wrong with what he said because he literally was spot on.
Yeah. And I just want to say too, like, I'm not surprised that he's talking about it now, because if you listen to some of Dee-1's music, like, he always addressed like current topics. Like, it was
Yeah.
student loans at one point. It was just a different perspective of his music. And you do hear that murder tone in music a lot more. So for him to address it and go at, the industry right now, I wasn't caught off guard because I know that that's kind of like a underlying thing in his music. So I thought his passion was on point. I really appreciate him doing that.
Yeah.
I think
But
more
he's
so
fired
just
up.
really dealing with reality of what's going on in the world and in our environment, where murder is like a constant.
It's a
It's
spirit.
not like it's not like a rare thing to happen right now, which is kind of crazy. It's like to see people that you know and love get murdered. It just don't feel good, man. I can remember waking up to a Facebook post the day after Super Bowl, and it's like listening to that, watching that go down and seeing like, oh shoot, that was my friend.
Yeah.
Like, he's gone. And for what? For what?
Hmm.
Right.
And
now we what? Got the music that's really just driving that home even more. It's like kind of wild.
Yeah. And I know he was talking about just prison reform. I just want to read the definition of what I just looked up real quick. Prison reform is the attempt to improve conditions inside prisons, improve the effectiveness of a penal system, or implement alternatives to incarceration. But if you think about what we're doing in the streets, or what we're seeing in the streets, it's like the music is promoting things that get us incarcerated.
Yeah.
And then we come behind it with this push of, we're talking about prison reform, but then we're creating the music to get us incarcerated.
To drive more of the same behavior.
Yeah, so it's
And
like,
then
what
I
are
think
we really accomplishing in doing that?
We ain't accomplishing anything. It's like it's literally we're contradicting ourselves. It's like one minute we say we want black excellence.
Yeah, we march in the streets.
We
for
marching
that
in the
stuff.
streets, and we doing this and we doing that. But yet and still, while we're marching in the streets, there is literally killing going on. I remember with all of the different riots that was going on during the George Floyd. You know what I'm saying? Yes, what happened to this man is absolutely wrong, and ain't no stopping that. But I just heard about a 3-year-old little kid getting killed because of somebody don't know how to shoot their gun properly.
Yeah.
And there's 5-10 other murders that's just happened in Baltimore and Chicago, 50 in 1 week. You got
Yeah, the
30.
same day.
It's like all of this is going on, and it's the music that's driving it.
Yeah.
You can't say you want black excellence. You can't say protect the black man or protect the black woman when we the one that's not protecting ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going at the industry right now, to me, is something that we should have been doing. And you know who was the first one to spark the conversation? I don't know if y'all know, but it was Charleston White. Shout out to Charleston White.
You
Y'all know what
talking
Charleston
about-
White is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he been talking about
Like
it for a while.
he went hard, like at the rappers, at the gangsters.
When was this?
He been doing this for years, but just in the past year and a half, he been going hard. Like just matter of fact, this year, like year and a half,
I think
he's been going hard.
He specifically kind of targeted the drill rappers.
Mm-hmm.
What's the dude name?
King Von.
Yeah.
He went hard at King Von, and then he went hard at all of the gangsters, the Bloods, the Crips. He went after all. He was like, because how is it that you have a gang that's been around for years, but y'all don't own nothing?
Yeah.
We don't own anything. We don't have no shops. You know what I'm saying? But you want to call yourself a gang bank, stuff like that. And all this stems through entertainment.
Yeah.
Entertainment.
So and not to negate like what some of the industry rappers are doing as far as bringing prison reform to a platform. Like I think that's a good thing. Like I think there needs to be some form of reform in the prison system, but it's like you need to have like a consistent tone, a consistent
I think
motive
prison reform
or
in itself is a cop out. It's to say we can't change our own behavior, so we need to change how they market it to us, which is kind of ridiculous. Like, why do we need to change what's going on in the prison world
Well, we
can
should be
just
changing what's in the
our
community.
neighborhoods
yeah.
and focusing away from the things that is putting us in prison?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
that's
can
what he
understand I can understand the drive to towards government, pushing the government away from targeting us. That's understandable because that happens. You know, the school to prison pipeline is a real thing. I was in the classroom, so I know exactly what that looks like. Most of the kids that I was in class with, dead or in jail. So I can understand how that can be a real conversation to be. If they really wanted to target something, it wouldn't be prison reform. It would be, how do we get these kids away from this pipeline that they got going on for us, where they are targeting children
In the education system.
in the
Yeah.
education
Yeah.
system
Yeah.
and pushing them into classrooms that don't drive them for success and only leads them to a lifestyle that will get them locked up. And I was in that classroom, so I saw that. And they put them with teachers that have zero experience, that don't have any care for them. Literally, I'm in the classroom where they fought every day. No referrals, no suspensions. They fought every day in class. I saw it.
And they have zero influence.
Zero.
No influence
And
in the home.
that's what you would expect.
No drive, no nothing. It's just like the expectation is, well, these kids ain't gonna live no life long anyway, so forget about it. So I mean, I understand what they got going on with that, but it's like he right. D1 is right on point. He like, y'all, if y'all really want to drive this conversation where we can move the needle for our people, you can spend all of the money that you want.
But here's the thing: I don't prison reform. I don't know what type of prison reform they're doing, but this ain't no real prison reform. What I don't know what Meat Mill, because when Meat Mill had a real opportunity to put his hands in some true prison reform that had legislation to back it, he copped out of actually having a conversation with the Trump administration. The Trump administration literally reached out to him and said, hey, we want you to work with us on prison reform. We already got something in the works that they even passed. It was the First Step Act. So you had the First Step Act, you know what I'm saying? You had these different things that Trump did, and a lot of these rappers could have been a part of that. But because of the pressure of, oh, you support Trump or you do this, they backed out. But then you call everybody who does have their hand in true prison reform and getting the First Act passed, the First Step Act passed, and all these different things that the Trump administration did. They want to call you coon. They want to call you a sellout. They want to call you everything but a child of God. And you're like, hold on, wait. We actually got something done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all letting mainstream media fool y'all, or you letting your handlers fool y'all and trick y'all into doing something that you know, like, come on, let's keep it 100.
Yeah.
So the prison
It's
reform
so funny
thing
watching
is.
that stuff like live happen.
I'm talking about. I watched it live happen.
They're like, tax the rich. It's like, okay, let's tax the rich. He taxes the rich. They don't like him. It's like, wait, didn't he tax the rich? Like, he actually taxed them people, and now y'all upset with him. For what reason? Doesn't make any sense to me. Well, we need prison reform. All right, cool. How about this? We're going to give you prison reform. Does the prison reform.
And mad that he do it.
Pass. They pissed off at him. He gets, all right, we need to make women empowerment huge. All right, cool. How about this? We'll put some things into place where women can compete in the workplace. And he passed the act for that. A lot of people don't even know about that one. But it's like everything.
Let's talk about what
done,
he did with the music business too.
Everything that he's done.
Let's talk about
that
Dee-1.
drives.
Y'all getting off
No,
the whole topic of the video.
It's still on topic. It's still on
like,
topic.
This man did so much that drove the conversations that people have just to have. This is the whole point. They're having these conversations, but they don't really mean anything by it. They just want to be involved in a conversation that makes them look good. But they're not.
But they haven't done
doing
anything exactly
to make a difference. It's like, if you really want to make a difference, then go and do something about it. But if you're just gonna talk about it and not actually put any feet behind it and any drive to get it done, then what's the purpose of talking about it? You're just talking about it so you can look good.
But what I appreciate is the way that he's doing it. Like he is calling. He went on a public platform. He went to their space.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Sway's radio show. He went on their space, called out these rappers by name, and then said it's not one just to, like, to y'all point. It's not enough just to talk about prison reform and then not do anything about it. He's saying that they're doing the opposite. You're talking about it, you're not doing anything of value to affect it, and then on the same tone, you are glorifying the exact opposite of what you're talking about. So I love the fact that he's not just saying, hey, you need to do more. He's also saying, hey, this other thing that you got rich off of, this other thing that you got popular off of, became a boss off of, and all the stuff that you want to call yourself is actually the thing that's killing us, the thing that's actually hurting us. So he's basically saying you are the thing that's killing our culture. Whew. What you're saying, what you're talking about is the thing that's killing the people that you're feeding this music to, feeding this stuff to. So I love the fact that he went right at that. So let's keep going. Let's hear the rest of it, and then there's a little bit more we want to.
I forgot we had to listen.
Talk about.
I come to Jesus moment of like, D, you got to do something different, brother, because you have a taste for this poison, but you're attracted to the poison. And rap is great. The rap game, hip hop industry is great at cooking up some delicious poison. I don't call you out because I got a problem with you, man. Like, I wish we could go get lunch right now, me and any of them. I love you too much to not be honest with you.
There you go.
That's what it is, bro. Yep. And so if anybody feel bad about being called out, it's like, let's talk. Let's talk about it and let's just figure out what we can do better. But at the end of the day, guess what's not changing? The word of God ain't changing. Okay. There's death and life in the power of the tongue, Proverbs 18:21. That's not changing. And trying with this foolish argument that it's just entertainment. This ain't real. Mm-hmm. How many more people got to die in the hood, man? How many people at the end of the day lives got to get ruined and poisoned, and how many rappers got to get killed for us to be like, come on, man, when it's hip hop, it's a whole culture, and it's implied that this is autobiographical and this is non-fiction tales that people are telling. How much does that have to happen? So don't hit me with that. People just don't want to confront the reality of this stuff.
Like, we literally just said what he just said. Yeah. Like, it's really, that's just what it really boils down to. It's nothing that we can. I have no argument, and I don't even have an argument with him calling them out publicly. I think that was, I know a lot of people probably got upset that
They're supposed to get upset, because I mean, if you get called out, you're gonna feel some type of way. But the feeling some type of way is the whole purpose of being called out.
Yeah.
They're supposed to feel some type of way, and they can go on and talk about whatever they want to talk about and make it seem like, hey, it's not my problem. I didn't do this. Like, you know what? When my wife called me out and I did something wrong, I be feeling bad. But at the same time, I be listening like, she right.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I'm serious. Like, she right. Like, I can argue all I want.
Once you put the ego down.
Yeah, I can argue all I want. We can try to go back and forth, but it's like, if she right, she right. And the same thing, if I call her out, she might argue and be all upset. But in the end of the day, she going to be like, I probably shouldn't have did that.
Yeah.
And I think that the whole purpose of the call out is for the end result. It's like, hey, look, I'm not calling you out because I don't love you. Yeah. Like he said, I'm calling you out because
examine the content of what I'm saying. Is it true or is it false?
Yeah.
I'm calling you out because, number one, you need to be called out because you're not doing what's right. If you were doing what's right, then I'd be shouting you out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you would love it. You would be excited because I'm shouting you out, but I'm calling you out because you're not doing what you need to be
And
doing.
I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah.
And it's honest. It's not like you can't go back and listen and go, dang, my music is talking about killing people a lot. I should probably change that.
Yeah.
And it's a whole lot of more artists that he could have called out, so he targeted some specific artists that have huge followings and have a lot of influence on the culture, because they are doing stuff that's good, like he pointed out. He has been giving out money and giving out all of this stuff for a very long time. So it's like, on the one hand, yeah, you're doing some good stuff, but we got to call out this stuff that you're not doing that's good. We shouted out. We already shouting you out on the good stuff that you're doing. We already giving away stuff about your reform that you got going on, Meek Mill. But let's talk about this other stuff that's killing people, that's getting people killed, and let's get that fixed so that what did it go for? What's that verse where it said, "Don't let your good be evil
Good,
spoken of"?
Yep.
It's like if you're not doing what's right, then you're gonna put yourself in a bad predicament, and it's not gonna matter all the good stuff that you got going on, because all of the negative stuff that you got going on around you.
Yeah.
So what about, we won't play the video. What about Rick Ross's and Jim Jones's
Man, we gotta play the response, man. We gotta play Rick Ross's response.
I know a part of Rick
For
Ross.
language purposes, we ain't gonna play it. But
For a part of his
Y'all go
response
look it up.
was about, like, just how the nature of social media is right now. Everybody's trying to go viral. So he's like, "Oh, Dee-1, you're taking advantage of our platform to try to build your own platform," which I think, that's just a strategy in a sense. But if you think about, okay, I'm going to come to you. I'm going to come to the hood and I'm going to give out turkeys. I'm going to give out shoes, and then you guys are going to hear my name. And then when you go search my name, you're going to find my music. So if Dee-1 is calling you guys out, if someone researches Dee-1, they're going to find his music. So that's a part of his strategy in a sense too. But it's not I'm trying to take advantage of your platform. I just want to have a conversation. Let's actually talk about these issues. He's opening up the floor, the table, and he said it. Let's sit down, let's have lunch, whatever the case may be, so we can actually talk about it. And I like that part of it.
So do you think he should have hit them up first, like reached out to them first before he went on a public platform and
Reached out and did what?
Like
to the rappers?
Let them know that he about to call them out.
Instead of have the conversation with them personally.
No, heck no. I mean, obviously, what he did worked because they responded.
I get it.
They responded. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to reach them so that they can hear it, and it worked. Yeah, I think.
And then too, we don't know if
strategy.
we don't know. I don't know if he's DM'd them, if he's tried to hit them up and been like, "Hey, what you doing? Like, let's have a conversation." I doubt that that happened, or if they would have listened, because there is a video where they got all disrespectful, like, "I ain't never heard of you. Who are you?" Yada yada yada. So they was trying to belittle him and trying to say that he's a nobody. So I think what he did, to your point, he got the job done.
He got the job done.
It did get the job done.
Because they responded.
And we got everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
Like
if you don't have no following on social media and you reach out to somebody, they probably not gonna. If they got a following, they probably not gonna reach back out to you. But if you got a following, they feel obligated to reach out to you because they feel like you can make an impact. They just know that. There's a reason why they responded to his call out, because they felt some type of way, number one. But number two, he got some people that's following him. People know his name. And when people know your name and they can reach out and make a difference, you need to respond. They did what they were supposed to do, and he did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah. Jim Jones' response was just stupid.
A little untailored.
It was just stupid.
I think
the
we
classic
really
hood
should play
response.
it. Look, I really do believe we should.
All he did was just threaten them. He said, "If you pull up in my hood, you better come around with your head down," and all that kind of stuff. I mean,
because not everybody saw
from
it.
the street where I understand.
Which is
I understood
a reinforcement of what he's talking about.
Exactly.
Like, if I'm trying to have a conversation with you, everybody has a public voice. Everyone can speak. But the notion is, one of my family members might feel some kind of way, and they
That was
might
just
not
straight
understand,
ignorance.
and they might do something to you. Like that was the undertone there, which is a cycle of what we're trying to stop in a sense.
Yeah.
He's trying to put a stop to that and ask you to make music so that your cousin doesn't want to try to harm me, because of something I'm saying. Not taking offense to those types of things, but it's just a perfect example of what he's talking about. Because in
You
the
got to
news,
change the conversation so that the conversation can be changed.
yeah.
So Rick Ross' response was, how would y'all summarize what he talked about, what he said in his response, if y'all remember?
To be honest, I laughed at his response.
He was funny.
He was funny.
It was funny.
But he is also the same one who was a correctional officer. So you was once somebody who was working for the law, and 50 Cent called you out on it. You never did exactly what you said that you did, but you're portraying this music out here. And yeah, okay, you lived this life, but let's just tell the truth. Let's tell the truth. You didn't live the life that you're talking about. And now, just because you give out turkeys and you do all this and you do all that, and yes, you have changed lives. You have done that. But you're contradicting yourself. And for those who really pay attention, it's like, I really can't take nothing seriously that you said. Like, if I look at Dee-1's resume and I look at Ross's resume, Dee-1's resume was more of a flex to me because he didn't have to compromise his integrity. He didn't have to create a lie in order to literally become the success that he is today. You know what I'm saying? He's actually doing the best that he can to make sure that he lives a righteous lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's evident. He's a professor. He does this for the kids, for his community. And we can actually see his work. But like we all just said, when you go back and look at all of these rappers' works, it's like, okay. So I didn't care for Rick Ross's. I laughed. I really did. Jim Jones is the one that really, really hurt me, though. That was the one that was like...
Did it hurt you because you were surprised? And
I
you
was
didn't
surprised
think
at
that
his
was
response.
Part of...
I did not think he was going to respond in that manner, especially when he talked about a family member doing like.
But he's a street dude. I mean,
He responded how I thought he would.
yeah, like
I wasn't surprised. I was like, this is just
I'm not
what
surprised by Jim, because that's the image that he portrays. Like, he's really out in the street, so that could happen. Because the culture is...
You just hoped that he would have...
You think
to be honest with you,
you feel like he was be more mature.
I would have thought he would have been more mature. And the reason why I thought that, because I follow Jim Jones. So, like, I follow his page, and, him working out, him talking about the health on food, stuff like that, eating healthy, all of this stuff. Like, that's one person I would have thought would say, you know what, little bro, right? Like, he would have actually listened. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, cool.
I think he listened, but he has to keep a persona.
Because they both came with, like, jokes, like, who are you?
Yeah.
Instead of acknowledging. I think Dee-1 acknowledged their success, like, hey, you guys are doing well. They could have acknowledged, what Dee-1 has done. He's gone viral for multiple things in his own music in his own right. So at least acknowledge that and have a better conversation. I think that could have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the response that both of them gave was what it seemed like it should have been to me. Like, it was exactly what I would have expected from each one of them based on the persona that they give off. It's not like they're like retired from music, so they're still in the industry spotlight. They give the response that matches that persona.
Did they respond like a boss? Like Rick Ross calls himself the boss. I know Jim Jones, he kind of seems like he's the diplomats. Like, if you above all of this,
if you a boss, then you would have did a boss move. He didn't do a boss move in his response. If you're diplomatic, you didn't.
He tried to. I think he tried to flex. He tried to be like, I'm doing this for all these people. I'm doing this for all these kids. I'm doing this for all these,
I just really
pregnant women that need supplies and all that stuff.
The response that I haven't heard was Meek Mills.
Meek Mill responded
He
on
did a tweet.
social media. He,
Yeah.
he Twitter
Like a
fingers.
comment.
Okay.
He Twitter fingers, real quick.
Yeah.
Ever since he got
He
bodied
did do
by
like a video.
with Drake.
Quiet down.
So let's get to Rick Ross's. I mean, not Rick Ross. Let's get to what Dee-1 responded to Rick Ross. Rick Ross got on here again, flexing about all the stuff that he does for the community, giving out turkeys every year to hundreds of thousands of people, giving out, I think he said, bicycles to kids. What else did he say? Giving out diapers to
He about to
mothers in
say-
need. Well, we don't have the Rick Ross
Oh,
video. So that's what Rick Ross said. So he basically said, D1, you ain't a nobody. You ain't got enough power to basically come at me. So before you come at me, before you come at me, you need to go ahead and level up. So that's what Rick Ross said. So now we're gonna see D1's response to that
Take
video.
that basket off your head.
He said,
I love you, brother, and I want you to know that because you sounded a little upset in your video reply to me.
Which you are far from, you heard me?
Rick Ross! First of all, I love you, brother, and I want you to know that because you sounded a little upset in your video reply to me. But I love you too much to not be honest with you. And right now, you're deflecting. I was talking about your lyrical content, and you talking about turkeys. I'm talking about you as a hip-hop OG still glorifying murder and drug dealing in your music. And you talking about turkeys? Bro, more people are streaming your music than eating your turkeys. You can believe that, brother. Oh, then you can make fun of my accent and my hair, brother. That's lightweight, you hear me? What am I doing to help my community? Well, my whole adult life, I've been a middle school teacher. Now I'm a full-time hip-hop artist. Just dropped my 10th album. It's called Uno. You should check it out, actually. I've helped to give out hundreds of thousands of dollars in college scholarships for students around this country. Done financial literacy tours year after year, brother. Shoe drives, toy drives, voter registration rallies, prison ministry. I'm currently a professor at Tufts University teaching the intersection of hip-hop and social change, and I'm a fellow at Harvard University. Ultimately, I'm just trying my best to do God's work in this industry, bro. Then you say, won't I go viral with my own content? Brother, you're a little late to the party. I've been successful for a while, man, and not having to glorify the things that's harmful to our community. Could you do that? I'm curious. Bro, I work with some of the same artists as you. The Game, Lupe, Big Crit, Juvenile, Manny Fresh, Currency, Kevin Gates, Sway, Charlamagne. These people know me, man. So as black men, let's do our best to do God's work and not glorify what's holy.
so forgive all hiccups. Video was paused for some reason. I don't know why. But
It's our first
anyway,
time.
we got the
heard
audio.
it.
So
We heard it.
We
That's
got
what
the audio.
matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters. We heard it. You heard it. We heard it.
Okay, so we talked about D1 call out and then their response. How y'all feel about his response?
It was well needed.
Yeah.
It was well needed.
He sounded
because-
confident too. He didn't
Yeah,
back down.
and that's how we're supposed to be when we're doing God's work. We're supposed to be
Yeah.
confident in what we're doing.
He
We're
was
supposed to let
definitely-
the world know, okay, you think
He
you're
was
doing
real
something?
salty.
We really
good
do.
way,
I'm
though.
doing something. You know what I'm
He was real
saying?
salt.
He was really salty
He was
in a
salty.
good way, though. In a
D1
very
was
good
salty.
way.
I
Like
like
not, he has not lost the flavor
Mm-hmm.
at all. I felt it in a really positive way.
I
Real,
enjoyed
that was
it.
like really light. for
That
real.
motivated me. That motivated me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was good.
Yeah,
For sure.
What you think?
How you feel, BJ?
Nah, I loved it. I love his response. I love the heart that he's talking in and the attitude, the spirit that he's speaking in. So he came with no malice. He came with no ill intent to me from what it seems like. He didn't call him out of his name like Rick Ross did. Like he didn't come down to his level,
Yeah,
but he's still saying,
He was
nah,
salty.
I'm 10 toes on what we're talking about. I'm still going
he was
to
salty,
be
right?
flat-footed and talk about,
He
the
was
things that
salty,
I'm
right?
talking about.
Real
He's
talk.
salty.
He was salty in a good way. Salt
His
and light.
words
being
were
a salt.
salty. Yeah.
Salt and light, right? Salt and light.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
don't want to lose your flavor, right? He felt it. I felt it.
And that was never mind. That was good.
I loved it.
That was
I loved
good.
it.
Like
I loved
I really enjoyed it. I did this. I did this. I did this. I did this. And I'm currently doing this. And I'm currently doing this.
Check
Oh,
out that album.
And I ain't have to compromise my integrity in the process.
It
Which
didn't even.
he's basically saying there's a better way
That's it.
to do it. Like you
That's
can
it.
still be successful in rap, in music, whatever you want to do, without having to compromise. Now, obviously, the question comes in. I think we talked about this last week. There's a reason why some of these secular artists talk about and glorify these things because of that's what the industry is pushing for. That's what the record industry and these labels are pushing for. So we got Rick Ross, who I don't know his net worth. Somebody probably should look that up, but I'm
He's doing
sure
well.
worth a couple $100 million.
He came up from them correctional days.
So
Real
I don't know D1's net worth.
He own a lot of Rick Ross owns a lot of
Yeah,
restaurants.
he owns
He
a lot
does.
of.
He
got a
does.
lot
So
of.
we don't gotta
Wing-
call him
Wing
out
House?
I respect it.
because we ain't getting
Wingstop.
paid by them.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Hey man,
Wingstop.
don't be giving out promotional advertisements. One of these wing
chickens.
places he owns.
Yeah, he owned. Yeah.
And I don't know what D1 his net worth is, but either way, he's saying like you don't have to compromise to do this. So the question is, should or is it even, I don't know, valuable to call out these type of people in culture, whether it be artists, whether it be entertainers, actors, whoever, these people that have a lot of influence, supposedly have a lot of money, but they are glorify these certain things. Is it even valuable? Does it even make sense to call these people out when you know the heart behind or kind of the motivation for why they're doing it is a lot of it is because that's what made them successful. That's where the money is. That's where the influence is. So
I think you said it last week of, we can't expect a rapper or, like a worldly rapper to live a holy life. And the church needs to do their part. So I feel like what he's doing is not forcing, but creating an opportunity, a space for people to make a decision. Like it's for the people to respond. I think D1 is strong where he's standing. I think, the people that he called out are where they are, but it's the people that's listening to their music. It's the people that's listening to these conversations. And it's where is your heart? Like, how are you going to respond? Because I feel like D1 knows where he is.
Yeah.
He's made up his mind. The hip hop industry, they've made up their mind. But the people, us, the world, like, where are we? And I think there's another video that he actually speaks on this line that needs to be drawn. And it has been that way, even in scripture, of which side are you truly on?
Yeah, you got to draw a line. In the
So
sand.
we can't look for D1 to fold or those rappers to fold. Like, what are the people going to do in response to that?
yeah, I agree. I was thinking about like a comparison. Like no one, for the most part, no one calls out like McDonald's and be like, why are you making the kind of junk food that you're making? Right? Or I guess you could, but you really should be. You get more impact or value when you educate the people and be like, hey, why are you eating this kind of food? Why are you consuming this? That's not healthy. That's not good for you. So that might be the only thing that I would suggest would be, yeah, it's cool and it's good, and I guess it's needed in certain aspects to call out the people in the wrong, but you might get more impact or more, I don't know, success if you actually talk to the people and say, hey, why are y'all still supporting this? Why are y'all still listening to this? Why are y'all still consuming this? Because look what it's doing to you. Look what it's doing to
I think
your
he
culture.
did
So both
that,
is
though.
needed.
I think he actually did that because if you even go look at the comments, people woke up. Like a lot of people did a lot of reaction videos to what D1 said. Was like, yo, I've been thinking this. I've been feeling this way. I've been like, this has been on my heart. I remember I seen a video where the guy, he did a TikTok video. He was like, yo, you want to know why we so screwed up? He was like, because all day, every day, we be in the club or we be in the car and we just listen straight. We can't even have fun in the club no more because we listen to 20 straight drill song music or just killing, murdering, all this kind of stuff like that. I remember going to the club and it used to be a mixture of music that it wasn't just straight shoot 'em up, shoot 'em up, shoot 'em up. It was dance music, like if you think about the Yin Yang Twins, all them kind of stuff like back in the day. But now it's just straight killer music. And I think once he did that, he woke a lot of people up. A lot of people up. Because them comments and the reactions that I've saw so far was phenomenal reactions to say, you know what, the people have been feeling this way for a long time. What are we going to do to like? Are we going to stop supporting and giving out money and listening to it? What like it's a question going on. So I think he actually did all that in one, in my humble opinion. I think he spoke to the industry, to the rappers, and then he spoke to the people all in one moment.
Yeah, I mean, my response before was more like, what's the purpose of you having this conversation with them? But kind of seeing his place as up and coming artist in the industry and being a member of the hip hop world is like he doing what he need to do in that aspect. I feel like calling out these artists that have these big names and are still promoting this music, and then kind of being a member of the black community in itself and understanding that struggle throughout history. It's one of those things that needs to happen. It's like, hey, look, I'm not trying to down you or nothing. I want you to go out and do better for the community, because at the end of the day, it's people that look like you and me that are getting killed all day, every day in our own neighborhoods. And if we don't call that out, if we don't kind of stop that cycle from happening, then it's going to continue to happen. We have to be able to recognize that, we're being used by these industry people.
Yeah.
We're being used to essentially kill our own people.
I'm glad you just said that, because one of the words he said in one of the first clips we showed, he used the word poison.
Ooh.
And even before this drill music, there was the trap music that's glorifying, drugs and, a lot of, the popular rappers came up off of being drug dealers and, things like that. So it's like, it's poison. Even when you think about, the fast food industry, that food is poison, but it's something that with the people, we still are attracted to that. The scene that you said about the club is like they're in the club listening to this music, but they're still in the club. Like you're still feeding yourself this poison, and it's coming through the music. And that's the part that, we need to remedy also, getting rid of that poison.
This just brings us back to they cloned Tyrone.
But you know what's funny? We used to say something. We used to hear this said a lot when we were younger. I don't know if y'all remember this, but they said, if you lie, you'll steal. If you steal, you'll kill. That was a phrase that was used quite a bit, and the music in itself went through exactly those phases. It went from lying music to stealing music, and from stealing music to killing music. And it's like,
wow.
It's a style that we don't even recognize that has happened, but it has.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's just something that's been going on. And we don't really catch it because we just listening to music. We think that, we hear a good beat, and the beat make us feel good, and we kind of jam out to it. But what is it doing to our minds? What is it doing to our hearts? What is it doing to our energy? And if our energy is being robbed from these motives that they have, it's not good for us.
You want to know what's crazy? There was actually a study called the Tyrone experiment. It was a real thing.
Really?
And they did it with rats. And look it up. And a matter of fact, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Drop it in the chat.
Shout out to Yaki Awakening, because he the one who opened it up. And once he said it, he put it out there, and that's what happened. A video surfaced of a lab being investigated, and that's how they found the documentations, and like it was whole warehouse, and it was literally showing dead rats and still stuff like human experiment, all that kind of stuff going on. And so it just goes to show that everything that we are experiencing right now, all of the things that are coming up right now, I believe that God is doing a straight up cleansing. Like he doing a straight up cleansing right before our eyes. And I believe that the churches, or those who call themselves Christians, believers, they're going to miss the cleanse. Yeah. I really believe they're going to miss the cleanse, like, because they're going to be too not in tune with what God is doing, that they're going to miss it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like these past 4, 5, 6 years has been a roller coaster for America, for Black Americans, for white Americans, just across the world. It's just been a lot going on. I say past 10 years, 15 years, to where it's like everything that's coming out, I personally truly believe that God is doing a straight up cleansing. I got a question though, like, should we be calling out more Christian rap artists now? Like, should we be calling them out on things that they stand by, some of the things that they say out of their mouths and things that they do? Like, I remember when Lecrae had said something about ratchet and righteous or something like that.
Yeah, that
But
fired
then,
D1 up too.
yeah, and then you got some rappers who literally will stand with people who are in the world that support certain things like abortion. They support the 20% of the alphabet. They support, certain things that goes against God's nature. Like, should we now start calling them out now and saying, you know what, listen, now that we got this straight, now let's get us straight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Should we be start doing that?
I think you got to be led.
Yeah.
I think you just like people just shouldn't be calling people out just for the fun of it,
It's
or
the right
just
way to do
because
it.
they feel, a certain type of passion, fervency, etc. Maybe they feel in some kind of way in the moment, even if it's right. I think you got to be led, especially as Christians, as believers. I mean, shoot, Jesus called out, all kind of people, men of God, prophets. They all called out kings, wicked people, people in the religious system, all of that. So there is a place for it. I just think you have to be led, because the goal should be, you want good fruit to come of it. You want people to be saved from it. You want people to have light where there was darkness. So you just don't want to do it again just flippantly. I just think there's a what's the verse? You don't want your maybe Tyrell just said it. Ty just said it. You want your speech to
Good.
be
You don't want your
Good to be evil.
yeah too,
good
but
to
you
evil
want your
spoken
speech
of.
to be seasoned with salt. So you just ain't throwing out salt on everything. There's times and seasons to when you want to sprinkle that salt, and you have to be conscious of where you're doing it, when you're doing it. So to me, that would be my thoughts. Yes, there is a place for calling out pastors, calling out Christian influencers, calling out artists, calling out anybody, especially people that's supposed to have a platform. Again, you just want to do it with the right intent and be led.
I think like even with when we talk about D1, you know, he's addressing them because he knows what he's doing. So like when we look at his rebuttal video, he's like, I know where I'm at. I know what I've done. Like this is my background. This is my pedigree. So, we can all easily just start calling people out for things, but especially like if we know that we're right in those areas, like if we know that, hey, I'm standing on the word, I have things lined up, or I've been delivered from this, or I'm done with this, and then maybe come from a place of that. But if we're still mixing, then it's going to be hard for us to even address that. And I think with D1, in a sense, like I feel like he might be where he can take that stand because he knows what he's doing behind closed doors. And then as far as like Christian artists, they probably grew up influenced by the world, and once you come to the Lord, you kind of got to turn away from some of those things. So have they done that? Even like with Lecrae, he kind of he gives reverence to the hip hop industry as shaping and molding him in a sense too. So it's like if he's coming away from it, then we can kind of. I guess my point is just this: like, as long as we're coming from a place where we know that we're right, then we can have that conversation. But if not, then we just got to be careful with who we're calling out.
Mm-hmm.
I respect it. What's up?
I agree. I don't have anything to add. I agree. Yeah, it's like we can call people out, but I mean, if the goal is to create, if the goal is to create this world where we can keep each other accountable, then the accountability doesn't come necessarily in the limelight. Sometimes it comes in a private conversation, and then there's other times where it needs to be called out. in the limelight if the private conversation doesn't go the way it's supposed to. So, we can do that. We can call people out, but like I think what BJ was saying, there's a time and a place.
Respect it.
What you think? What you think?
I think we should call people out. Call them out. But do it in love, though. Like, you know how Dee-1 did, do it in love, especially when it comes to certain things that we know that it's like, nah, why would
So
you
publicly at all
like,
times.
what, I mean,
That's what I think of when I hear call out, like make a public
if
calling out.
if you are doing certain things that literally is to the public, you know what I'm saying, you're standing on certain issues in the public, you should be called out in the public. That's what Jesus did to the woman with to the
I was
prostitute.
gonna say not the woman at the well. That was
They,
private.
they was trying to that one was private, but the other one was public. They was trying to call that girl out, stone her, and then Jesus started writing in the sand. You know what I'm saying? Hey, and they fled because if you're gonna call one out, I gotta call you out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like, there's certain issues and topics, like things that is important to me. I think that we should be holding those who are in the Christian arena accountable. Like, abortion is important to me. Why are we not talking more about abortion? And why are we allowing people who call themselves Christians to say, oh, they kind of like on the fence with that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be on the fence with that. You know what I'm saying? God is life. God is life.
Agreed.
Now, if you choose to make that decision, that is your decision that you need to deal with. But trying to put that pressure on the whole world to accept a decision that you've made, and granted, I understand some of the back stuff, but at the end of the day, we got to stand firm on that.
Yeah.
No, we're not finna allow you to come and put up to promote that to our community, even when it comes to the 20% of the alphabet. We're not finna promote that to us because that's how y'all marketing it. Y'all marketing it out to us. I just saw today, it's Trans Day. Like, what's a Trans Day? And Corinne Jean-Pierre sat there and said, this affects black and brown women. Why are y'all pushing that on us? And why are we as the church or those who call ourselves Christians not calling that stuff out? And saying, no, you're not going to put that on us. So I just think when it comes to issues like that, we got to be head on with it and calling that stuff out. But that's just me when it comes to stuff like that.
The irony behind all of like what you just was mentioning, Trans Day and all of the other stuff, is like to promote anything that is towards death is just doesn't make any sense to me, especially towards our community and in a whole. It's like if it's not promoting life, then why are we even participating in it? Like, what's the whole purpose? How can we be, on one hand, saying that, we want better for our community, and we're promoting death to our community? It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. It's like we're going to promote things that we know is going to get us dead. That doesn't make a lot of sense. To create a community that is flourishing and growing and getting bigger and bigger, we're promoting something that's diminishing our community, making us smaller and smaller, and it's like we already represent a small portion of the world, anyways. We represent a small portion of the world, or this country per se, and then we're gonna promote things that make us even smaller. That just it don't make sense to me.
It doesn't. And every other culture is thriving. They're thriving. They're having babies. You know what I'm saying? They out here creating families. They doing all that. But us,
we got we have a whole border to this country that is wide open, and people are pouring in droves. So much so, it's so bad that even the mayor of New York, who is a devout leftist who supports this idea of this bringing in all of these people,
and he's a black man
against it. He's like, no, we need to close the border. We need to secure this because we can't afford to keep bringing these people in. This man is coming out against that, which lets you know this is not only a huge problem for the area where he is, the impact of having all of these people pouring into our country and allowing them to kind of settle in without going through legal channels is creating a wormhole for the community where he's supposed to be governing. He can't even govern his community to the point where they're having to take resources away from
Black
people that are there that look just like he does. He's having to take away that money and give to these other people that they're supposed to be supporting as what? A sanctuary
And
city.
this is something that we should not be quiet on.
And
at
it's
all.
like that what they're promoting without realizing is they're promoting this death. They don't think that they're promoting death when they're allowing all of these people to come in without vetting and allowing them to go through the legal channels. If we have a legal channel for these people to come in and they don't do that, and we'll say, hey, come over here, we'll hide you over here. Okay, cool. But what are we going to do about the money that they're taking away from us? Now you're promoting death in our community without even realizing it, because now the people that you're supposed to be supporting financially are not going to be getting those funds anymore. How they going to get food? Y'all taxing us to death already. Now they want to increase the taxes in the area, which they already had the highest taxes in the country. It's like everything that they're doing is promoting death.
Yeah.
And they don't think about it like that because they're like, we're trying to give to people. It's like, yeah, you can only give so much. If you got $100, okay, and you still got to feed your family, you can't give away all of your $100. You got to feed your family first.
So this is really bigger than just D1. I think this is a conversation for all of it in its entirety, because it's
Drop the mic. Drop the mic.
Okay. That's what we on.
hey,
All
what
right.
is it?
There it is.
There it is.
That's what we on. All right.
Drop the mic moment, okay?
About to get serious.
But
But
yeah,
you
man,
right.
like this literally just for me. I think this conversation was necessary, and I hope it reaches a lot of people. Well, it is going to reach a lot of people, but it's like
We're promoting deaf culture, and we need to stop doing it.
We gotta stop
Not just
doing it.
on the music front, but on every front.
Front.
There's so many different. There's so many different areas in our community that are being drilled in with death, and it's not like they're slowing it down. We paraded and protested around the country all of 2020 over death, only to continue to support death. And the people who was driving that whole thing, their whole organization is built on death in itself, literally built on death. The people who started the actual organization, like the actual organization, not the one that they filed for government papers and stuff like that, but the people who actually started that organization got killed. And we don't even know who that man's name is. It wasn't no ladies. It wasn't no women that started that organization. It was men. And those men got killed.
yeah,
They died. And
Yeah.
then they went and filed a legal name as an organization to make it a legal organization under these women who only support death. And it's like, death to who? Primarily black men.
people.
No, black men, specifically black men.
Black men, yeah.
And it's like, what are we doing to support these black men? Nothing. The whole organization is supposed to be to support growing the black community, and the organization is built off killing the black community. The whole like, if you can go and read on their own website, nothing on their website talk about black men.
I don't know why Tyrell is not saying the name.
What?
Just say the name.
What's that?
Black Lives Matter.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry if I didn't say it. But
Yes.
anyways, I'm just saying, like the whole like, you can read on the website. I'm like, let me read this again because maybe I'm tripping. Looking on the website, all right, we affirm black women, black these people in this group and this group and this group. I'm like, well, shoot, where is the black men that they support in all of this stuff? The whole thing is.
Did y'all read the statement?
Which one?
On Black Lives Matter
I've read it
website.
before.
Like I'm reading it, I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
shoot, where does it
Their mission
affirm?
statement. talking
Their
about,
mission statement, yeah,
I read
it
it.
had
Where
nothing
does
to
it
do with us.
Where does it affirm
It had nothing to
black
do with us.
men in here anywhere?
It
Because
had
y'all
no
specifically
way.
talk about trans and gays and lesbian. They specifically talk about it. But I'm like, well, shoot, what a black man. I'm looking in them. I don't even see it.
They took advantage of that marketing
Ultimate.
opportunity.
They took advantage and they made a
took
lot of money.
A lot of money.
And how
Did
much of
what
that
with it?
money?
A lot.
How much of
Did
that
what
money
with
is
it?
coming
Did
to
what
our
with that money?
communities?
They went to some very powerful
mansion.
people that wasn't us.
Couple mansions
And
stuff.
bought some houses.
Bought some houses and
I think somebody
not
said it
family
was,
members
not
got
even in
jobs.
black communities.
They say it's not Black Lives Matter. It's buy large mansions or something like that. It's like they use
Drop
it.
your mic.
They
Drop your
So,
mic.
they said it's BLM. I don't know what it's supposed. It ain't talking about our lives.
And it sure
because
wasn't.
I couldn't find anywhere on there where it talked about us. But they sure march in the streets anytime one of these black men. I'm like, I don't even want y'all marching for me. Because
and
y'all
the whole
not-
time you have rappers who are literally supporting this and pushing this, and then guess what's happening? They're telling us to support Black Lives Matter, not knowing, being a part of this, the very agenda that literally kills the black community, kills black men.
It's sad
And they
to
still
see,
talk
but it's
about it.
like-
It has to come to a point where real men of God, real men in the community can stand up and say enough is enough, because that's where it's at. Enough is enough. Right. I'm tired of seeing young men out here not knowing what to do with their lives. I'm tired of seeing young men out here crying and literally begging for their fathers to be fathers to them. I'm tired of seeing it, man. I mentored this young boy named Josh, and he has a friend named Josh, and they got another friend, and it's to see all of
Is
the
his name
trials-
Josh too?
Yeah, no, it's not one Josh. His not one Josh. That's why
Josh. You got a
but-
friend named Josh.
But
a strong
to
name.
literally be with them and to hear their story, to hear their testimony, it's like, man, these kids are hungry, but they've been literally messed up in the mind because of us, because of generations past. Like, we have to literally shift the culture, and it's only going to take us. I think the 80s babies is what's going to really save a lot of the stuff that's going on.
Yeah, we can either make or break.
We
what's
can either
going
make or
on.
break what's going on, and I think
Damn, no love for the
like
90s?
shot, huh?
We love the '90s babies,
No love
but
for the
you know,
90s babies.
The early 90s babies.
we love the 90s
The
babies.
90, 91, 92.
But see, we was raised by these '60s babies, and some of them just weren't. They weren't versed in communication very well, and it was one of those weaknesses. And it was like we got blessed. Like I know I got blessed because my mom recognized, hey, look, this was one of I grew up in an age where communication about certain topics was like almost forbidden, and I want to do everything I can to avoid that. And this is what my mom was letting us. Hey, look, I'm gonna do my best to avoid removing you guys from these conversations because I don't want y'all to run into the same traps that I ran into because I was avoiding these conversations with my parents. So I'm gonna have these conversations with you, and so that you can build off that and grow from that instead of being in the dark and then having to bring it to the light in the wrong light.
Yeah.
And some people listen to that, and other people just didn't. And we're seeing those kind of radical differences happen in the world today, which is why you saw this large wave of women having babies out of wedlock and men not taking responsibilities for it, not because they didn't want to take responsibility, but they just didn't learn what it meant for them to do that. And they didn't understand what they were doing. All they did know was, I'm going to get with a woman and we're going to have sex. I'm so serious. But they didn't understand, hey, look, there are ramifications for doing that. And if you don't understand what that's going to result in, you're going to get caught up.
I was scared of AIDS. That's why I was.
But it's
yeah,
but
I-
it,
that
but it
was-
wasn't
It's a conversation so you can do better.
Yeah.
But honestly, it wasn't a lot of their fault because a lot of their fathers that were good men, they just got locked up, getting caught up in that wave of the drug selling. Like a lot of them dudes was really good dudes. It's a lot of good dudes that got locked up. That was like real fathers that loved their children. They was out to go get money for their kids so they can provide for their family, but they didn't realize they was being set up by the government.
Yeah.
They
Which
just
brings us back to prison reform.
Prison
and
reform.
The whole conversation.
Yeah. But it's like I said, it's the whole setup. Like we don't really need the prison reform.
Yeah.
If we can fix what's going on in the
Fix
community and focus on what's really going to drive us to success, which is like what they pushed us away from in the first place, which was building our own businesses, building our own communities, making stuff be available, the kind of stuff that a lot of people hear Dr. Umar talk about. Hey, look, where are the black banks at? You know, what's going on with that? It's not that we didn't want black banks. When we had all of that stuff, they came and burned them down.
But we rebuilt.
And we rebuilt, and they burnt them down
we
too.
haven't rebuilt. No, they didn't.
They
We just
did.
haven't rebuilt.
Oh,
We just haven't rebuilt.
You will only do something a certain amount of times before you give up on it. If somebody keep destroying it. If you build your house, like I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just build this house
Can
over
we say
with.
that we destroyed that in the 50s and in the 60s? Because a lot of those
I think out of fear. I think out of fear, people make decisions.
I can respect that.
And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that we didn't want to build our communities.
That's fair enough.
If you built Tulsa, Oklahoma, you built a whole community and somebody put it all the way on fire, this huge community, Black Wall Street, you see all of this stuff happen from a distance, you go, shoot, if I do that over here, they probably going to burn it down too. It's a reason why the Ocoee massacre happened. Because these people like, shoot, I'm going to go in and we're going to make some changes happen out here. Oh, y'all think y'all going to make some changes? We're going to show you what we're going to do. And this is the crazy part about the history that they never talk about for the Democrat Party is this history of like destruction.
Mm-hmm.
This is the history that they never talk. They talk about it, but they don't mention where it comes from. Yeah. And it's like, this is y'all party history. And y'all can talk about the black wealth gap all you want. A lot of the stuff comes from y'all party. Y'all have done this over the years and don't even realize that it's your party. If y'all don't talk about that history and bring that to the light, you can talk about it in like a third person. No, you got to talk about it direct and say, hey, look, you know, we have some problems in the history of our party that we need to really discuss. If they can have that conversation.
They would never have that conversation.
If they could actually have that conversation,
they would never have
then
that
we
conversation.
can actually make some
they would
cohesive
never have that. They would
stuff going in our community. Because they don't want to have that. We know they don't want to have that conversation because it will really make them kind of look.
It's the same. It's the same reason. Why the artist won't have that conversation.
Exactly.
Because
they gonna call it out.
Artists and entertainers want the bucks.
Yep.
And these politicians and the parties
want the power.
Want the votes.
They want the votes.
They want the power. And how do you control black people?
It's the same.
You literally say racism, even though it's you that is literally causing all the racism. Even though it's you that's causing all
y'all history.
This is what y'all are doing. And y'all use black people to literally to continue to spew this mess and let them be ignorant of what the truth is. Because that's what a lot of is going on.
If they talk about the conversation and they don't talk about, well, who did it? It's like, well, what happened with the Ocoee massacre? The Ocoee massacre, a bunch of black men who were Republicans were trying to go vote, and Democrat white men was like, nah, that ain't about to happen. You bring go ahead and come in. Go in and put in your vote and see what happened. And then they killed them. But they don't talk about that. They just talk about white men and they talk about black men being killed. But they're not talking about who did it. They never talk about who did it.
That's the reason why I don't care for reparations.
They never talk about who did it because they know that if they talk about who did it, they would make them look very, 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 very bad. They know that, so they won't have that conversation like that. But I'm here for it.
Yeah,
that's why. So back to what I was saying. That's why you need
a lot of conversation.
Yeah, that's why we need times of.
Yeah.
We need certain people of. Yeah, we need to call out these people. We need to call out these parties. We need to call out these industries. But then we also need a lot of voices that's standing up and just educating people on
Yeah.
showing them the difference between what's truth and what you've been taught.
Yeah.
Right? We need a lot of voices.
Because a lot of that
talking
stuff,
to
it's
the
like they blend
masses.
together. It's like,
Right.
well, you got part of the truth. You know that it happened.
For 12
Thank
years
you.
in public education, this is what I've been taught.
Yeah.
For the last 20, 30 years, this is what my family's been voting. This is what my family's been listening to. So, of course, that's the habits and the just automatic thoughts of influence
Born
and
in
impact that I'm
sin,
going to do.
shaping in iniquity.
Right. So we need people to, again, we always need time and places of people calling out those in power 100%. And then we just also need people to take an actual post of teaching, educating people on this is what's right. Here's the reason why it's right. Here's the history of, X, Y, and Z. And this is how you get out of this cycle. This is how you break the cycle by being educated on what's right and wrong.
And,
so
yeah.
I agree.
For the most part,
I got deep.
As we said, as we end this though,
got
the most
deep.
important thing we got to learn from this is we got to build a solid community. Like this is where I think this is the time when I said about the clans. Like this is one of the things where we literally have to come together as a community and have these tough conversations, so that way we can get better. The only way we're able to reach the success that we want to reach is that we got to get on the same page when it comes to building each other. And if it just takes one podcast or a clothing brand or a hairstylist or anything for us to actually come together and bring our dollars together, like that's the most important thing we got to do. Let's bring our dollars together. Let's bring our dollars together. It should be no reason why we're not supporting each other and pushing each other and making sure that we become, because I'm tired of seeing us spend money outside our community, outside of us, when no other community does that. The Mexicans spend with the Mexicans, the Asians spends with the Asians, the white spends with the whites, but the blacks, we spend everywhere else but us. So I think that is a big conversation too that we really need to get into, because in order for us to have them change, we also got to change that aspect too. So this was a great conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I
There's
really
a lot of
enjoyed
love. I think the main thing is understanding that when you're coming from a place of love and you have a direction to go with it, it means something. It's not like we're not having this conversation in malice or in hate for anybody. It's really about love for ourselves, for our community, for the world, and to be enriching and to be able to give back to people. It's important, and it's very difficult for us to do that when we're not alive. So it's like, the number one rule is don't get dead, like don't get killed off of silly stuff. Like go out there and live life and give back to the world and give back to people and bring life back. So, let the conversations that you have be life-giving and not death-giving. That's I think that's the whole purpose of what Dee-1 talking about. It's like we have a lot of death that's going out. Let's give out a lot of love.
Yeah.
Let's give out a lot of appreciation. I don't hate you. I love you. I appreciate you. I want what's best for you, and I want you to want what's best for me too, in our community and the world. The world at large depends on our voice. And if our voice is no longer there because we are dead, then it's one less voice that is out there to bring love.
I love it.
Amen. All right, man.
Hey, you got
At a Tyrell moment.
Them boys gonna be rolling, man.
At a Tyrell. Y'all was rolling earlier.
Hey,
Y'all was on one earlier in the first half. Y'all was killing it.
man, we was on it.
I don't
It
know.
was a great balance. I love it.
I don't know. I'm just here,
You just here.
so I don't get fined.
You gonna wrap us
I'm
up,
just
Tony?
here.
Hey man, I think we had a phenomenal conversation, man. Shout out to Dee-1 for opening up the platform for us to have this conversation. God, dog, that was. But no, it was a great moment. This was a great moment. I truly appreciate you guys, and I don't even know what to say, man. I'm kind of stuck. we can keep going. How I feel right now, but I know we got to go. So listen. God loves you, man.
He does.
God loves you. He loves you so much that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. You just got to believe. So my encouragement to you is to believe. Okay? Now, believe. And, you know, this is Real Man Be Talking podcast, where every man has a story, and this is ours.
This is ours.
Peace.
Peace.
Yo, that was refreshing.
It's a wrap.
That was refreshing.
Clearly.
That was refreshing.
I was gonna make a comment, but I was like, let me not even say.